Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday night. And I'm so tickled. And yes, there's going to be a Jitsi every Saturday for whoever shows up. I might not be able to be there this week with Mark home. I've got this ironing board cover to put back on here. So we'll see. But if you need a link to the Jitsi, then send if you belong to our group, the link is on. Go to the group site and you'll see it. I put a sticky pin in it so it stays right at the top of the site. But if you're not a member of our group yet, send me a email to our time to quilt at twc.com. Whoops, hold on, let me see. It would help if I wore my glasses. So, our time to quilt at twc.com. Yay. So, hello. How do you get on the Jitsi? Mitty, are you a member of our group's IO yet? That's our little chat group. Are you a member of that? Hold on. I just want to make sure my lens is cleaned off. There you are. You look so nice now. But if you belong to our group's IO, you don't think so? Oh, well, Mitty, send me an email at the hour time to quilt at twc.com and I will send you an invitation. So we have a separate group, a group's IO, and it gives us a chance to chat more, share free patterns, ask questions, seek help for different things. And it's nice. It's really nice so we can keep chatting. So, and then that's how we do our Jitsi. And we put the link there and you can go get it anytime you want. But if you don't belong to our group yet, just send me an email and say, I'd like to have the Jitsi link. And for Mitty, you may have to remind me that I want to join, and I will send you an invitation right away. And you might want to practice going to the Jitsi site ahead of time just to make sure you kind of feel comfortable with it. Hi, Judy Smith. Judy Smith is one of our new members. So, Judy, if you would like to do the Jitsi chat on Saturdays, I just thought, why don't we do it every Saturday, starting at around 11 o'clock Eastern time, and whoever shows up can just sit and sew and chat. And the nicest thing, you don't have to type, you just talk, because it'll use your microphone of your phone or your laptop or your tablet. So that part is fun. So, okay, and we'll just kind of have a standing thing. Pop in, pop out. It's all free, no big deal. Whoops, I left a piece of thread on the... Okay, so now I want to see who's here. Mary, wow, you were here early. And here's our Marcia. Uh-oh, Marcia's not listed as our moderator. And Marcia, if you ever get tired of being the moderator, you tell me, hon. Debbie is here. Yay. In fact, if Debbie wants to be a moderator, let me know. So, because I appreciate it. It's just something to make sure to welcome people since I can't always see everybody as they come on. And if you're good at typing, you can type in the email address when I give it or anything like that. So, I'm excited. Okay, so Minnie and Marcia and Mary and Debbie, Cheryl, Annette Parsons. Hi, sweetie. So nice to see Judy Smith. There is Jody. Hi, sweetheart. So today we're going to continue working on our curves. And you can do these curves any way you want. I'll make sure to show you the pictures of the curve options that if you feel like, sewing along with us, then you can join us in this. So this morning, I knew I was going to go off with my daughter, and because she's got spring break at school, her kids are still in school, and she has spring break. So we wanted to go visit a pottery. And then I said, I'll treat you to lunch. And then I was going to come back home. And then soon as Mark finished up with his work, we went up to Walgreens and got our second booster. Yay. And it's not even sore. Ooh, that's pretty good. And got my second booster. So now that's the best I can do, guys. So, because I know in a lot of areas, the newest variant is acting up. So, but they say, I'm pretty sure if you've been boosted, if you've had your first immunization and at least been boosted once, you should be pretty good. I went to my doctor last Friday and I asked her, I said, okay, they've got the next booster. What do you think? She said, get it. She said, I'm going to get it. And she said, well, I take chance on getting sick. If it'll help you, just get. If you do catch it, it'll be minor. That's worth it. So got my second booster, feeling good. So anyway, so I went to a pottery today, and it was the sweetest pottery. The name of it is Wind Song Pottery. And let me grab, hold on, I'll show you what I got. I'm so excited. Okay. Here's one thing. Here's two things. Where is the rest? There it is. So I am so excited. Whoops, hold on. Okay. So let me show you the card, because like Kathy Boyd, some of you live in North Carolina. So here it is, Wind Song Pottery. If you live in North Carolina, it's worth going. Now, they are not, we have an area of North Carolina that, hold on, Seagrove. We have an area of North Carolina that's called Seagrove, and that's kind of near not Asheville, Ashland. It's near the zoo, and they also have set up a shop there. But they are in Denton, which is only like a half an hour from my daughter's house. So I went and picked up my daughter, and my granddaughter went along too, because she didn't feel good when she first woke up and started feeling better. So she went with us, and I love pottery. Oh, do I love pottery. And I always wish that one of the things I would do is become a potter. But unfortunately, with my back, I wouldn't be able to handle it now. But it's fun to think about. So, you know I'm cheap, right? We went to this pottery, and it was open, and it's a honor system, and you go, turn on the light, go in, look around, see what you want to buy. And so look at this beautiful bowl. This is a throne pot, and it's got the Wind Song and Margie on the back. She's the potter that threw this. But it has a tiny little defect, a little fleck. And so look what the price was. $5. I couldn't believe it. So I grabbed it. And then look at this beautiful, beautiful picture. Look at that beautiful handle, braided handle. Isn't that gorgeous? Well, it has a chip. So guess what it was marked to? $5. And one of the reasons, they have a signature color glaze that is gorgeous. But you know what this reminded me of? Something that hopefully soon I'll be doing. This reminds me of indigo. And I said, oh, I've got to have that. Isn't that beautiful? So I'm going to put these in a safe place. I don't want anything to happen to them. But, oh my gosh, I just love it. Mark said, well, what are you going to do with it? I said, it's decoration. It is so beautiful. So then I did pay full price for something. I loved this. This was like $8. And isn't that beautiful? I love this kind of stuff. This makes my heart happy. So I got that. And then on the markdown table, they had these little moon ornaments for $2. Aren't they cute? And then look at this one. So I got 3 of these so that my daughter who couldn't go can get one, and my son and his wife can have one. So that was so much fun. And of course, I took pictures for you. So real quick, let me show you some pictures of the day. So we went down to the Pottery, which is in rural Denton. Then we came back to Lexington, North Carolina, went to the charming downtown and had lunch. So let me turn this around. So I hope it doesn't make too much noise. Well, that made noise. All right, let me go to the pictures. I'm probably going to have to go to my phone for some of them. Yes, let me see. So here is my granddaughter and my daughter at the cute little place called the Eatery in downtown Lexington. And then that was a cute picture. She said, oh, let me get close so we can take a picture. And my granddaughter has a yellow mini little tiny daffodil from my yard that I took for her. And there's another one. And here is just a look out at this farm. So it's set on a farm. And here is a little pond, and they had some cattle in there. And look at that beautiful ridge back there. I thought, you know what, that is absolutely charming. So pardon about all these, I think this was supposed to be a movie. So let me zip past these really quickly because I want to show you the shop itself. Oh my goodness. Oh, now went too fast. Hold on. I always worry about boring, y'all. So let me, okay. Here we go. Look at the shelves in this shop. Isn't that wonderful? I love the stuff she makes and the groupings. They are just beautiful. Look at all of this. And they have a signature glaze that's kind of bronze and blue. Really pretty. Really, really pretty. And look, oh, there was so much to see. And I took pictures of everything. Here is the second, anything that has, when you fire things, sometimes little things happen. And so that's where I got my goodies. Then here's another shelf, and this is their signature glaze. It is so pretty. I wish I could show you something up close. And it was so sweet. And here is the actual potting room with a gravel over dirt floor. And they had 2 potter's wheels. And here is a whole shelf of things drying so they can go in the kiln. And here are some pieces that are ready to be fired. Just beautiful. Beautiful. So I couldn't wait. Here's the outside of the little shop. Just charming. Okay. So now I have just a couple more photos. Let me, come on. Okay. All right. So here is another one of my granddaughter and my daughter. And then here are the three of us outside the pottery. We were so excited. And then here at the eatery was a painted wall in the dining area, so they took a picture in front of that. So what a great, great day. And then I think that is it. And so thank you for letting me show you about my day. Because, since the pandemic hit, I don't go out and do that much. So it was a lot of fun to get out. All right, let's see now. Put things back away, falling out, making a loud noise. What's that about? Oh, because there's not room for it. That's the problem. All right, well, just lay it over there. All right, let me get back to you guys. So went to the pottery, had lunch, very excited. You saw the stuff I bought. I got a box in, but I forgot to bring it down here. But remember, I think I told you that to do the indigo dyeing, I had the pre-reduced indigo and I have soda ash, but I needed one more chemical, and it was called sodium hydrosulfite. Ooh, I remembered that on my own. And that came in today. So as soon as I get my prepared for dyeing fabric from Missouri Star Quilts, I'll be set. So, okay. And then, so that was a fun day. Before I get into the curvy piecing, because I'm really liking it, I've got to be honest. While I was sewing the curvy pieces yesterday, right now I just have the fabric laid across and the blocks just kind of pinned, because I'm thinking that, good idea for denim, Marcia. And I was thinking that I might not want them block, that I might want to set them out so they look a little more random. Does that make sense? So kind of like it's more actual space than everything lined up. The only problem is I might be a little short on that fabric. So I will check through my other things. It's hard to plan, and your stash may not have everything you need. But so anyway, I was watching YouTube videos yesterday while I was sewing. Charlene Piper, hi, sweetie. You just finished your egg and sent it to me. Sunday, we are going to show all of your photos. I'm going to make sure I get Melanie's photos too. And we're going to, because Sunday's Easter. And don't worry if you can't be here for Easter, because the video will be up and you can always see it. So as I was watching YouTube videos, and I happened to watch Alex Anderson, and I thought, well, let's see what she's doing with her new sew-along. And it's called Neutral Blooms. And I have to admit that because, I'm not really a traditional quilter anymore. But when I saw the photograph of the Neutral Blooms quilt, I went, ooh, I like that. But I said, Deb, you've got so many irons in the fire, so many things to do. You don't need to do that. But I watched her talk about it, and I watched her show it again, and I fell in love with it. I hate when I do that. And so all of my mature reasoning went right out the window. So I went to the quilt show and thequiltshow.com, and I found the pattern, Natural Blooms. I found the pattern, and if you get the downloadable pattern and they don't have to send you a physical copy, it was only $7.99. Well, I may be cheap, but I know a good deal when I see one. So I downloaded it. Before I bought it, the pattern, I went over and looked in my stash, and I said, I think I have enough neutrals that I could do this. And then I sat down last night and I went through the pattern. And I saw this one fabric, and it said grunge solid, 3 1/4 yards. Oops. The only thing I keep over 1 yard of are whites and blacks and maybe a cream if I have a reason for it. I don't keep over 1 yard of any particular thing. And so I said, oh, darn. I've spent enough lately, and I don't want to have to tell Mark I need a fabric purchase, because I told him I bought the pattern because I'm going to use my stash. Then I saw 3 1/4 yards. And then I remembered that one of our dear, dear, sweet members gave me a gift certificate for Christmas, and I hadn't used it yet. And so, yay! So I went to factwater.com and I found what I did, because I'm thinking, okay, I got to be really careful, stay within the budget and all. And I found a grunge, because that's what, when I went and looked at the sampler that you could get for $129, which really is not that bad for the amount of fabric you get. But right now, I'm trying to use my stash. I'm being careful. But they were using a grunge for that 3 1/4 yard. And so what I ended up finding grunge. I didn't want dots or stars on it. I found grunge in the 108-inch wide. Well, that's good, because you can usually save money by buying the extra wide fabric if it's a decent price to begin with. And so I bought 1.5 yards. That will give me 3.5 to 4 yards of normal width fabric. So I was so excited, and I even had a little bit left over to buy a few half yards of some grays, and because I don't really have gray patterns that much. So I was like, ooh. And so I'm very, very excited. So I was very careful within my thank you to my benefactor, who shouldn't have done it, but boy, was I excited. So anyway, I'm going to be working on this. And they've already had step 2, probably going to do step 3 this week. So, but if anybody has a good stash of neutrals and wants to join along with me on this, let me know, because we can jitsi and work on it at the same time if you want even. So, but it's like, oh, Deb, every time I think I've got too many irons in the fire, I put one more in there, don't I? And I really want to try to catch up and keep up as best I can so that I feel part of something. And that's what I told Mark. I said, I really enjoyed, even though I haven't finished, I really have enjoyed her hand embroidery sew-along. Really, really enjoyed it. And I said, I felt like a part of something, even though I started so late on that one. And I said, I have no plans for classes or anything, and I miss doing things in a kind of group environment. So even though I'm just going to watch her videos, I can still feel like I'm keeping up. So I love it, and they are absolutely, Alex was fine with people using their own stash, not a problem. So I'm very excited. All righty. Now, I think I covered everything. But this, I thought, just on the quilt show, I looked at the pattern. If you download it yourself, you save money. I think $7.99. It's 9 pages. So I thought that was very reasonable. And she hired a pattern writer to write it. So then we're going to be working on, I'll probably try to finish this one up by next week. And then we'll figure out where do we go from there. And so be thinking if you have any suggestion on what art quilt project, because we do anything art quilty on these Thursday nights. And traditional quilting is usually we talk about it Sunday. But, you know, we have fun. We're all over the place. But I wanted to show you this time. I did a couple different things. There is my planet that has the basic colors and the basic curved shapes going in a horizontal position. Then this one it's kind of the same, but it's a little bit more chopped up. I wasn't as careful how I cut it, but I like it. Then this one, unfortunately, if you're not careful, you can cut all of your pieces, all of your arcs the same, so they face the same direction. So what I did is I just gathered them and I turned them, I flipped them, and that way I could still use it. I thought, let me do one and see what I think. I kind of like it. So I'm thinking that even though this one doesn't match that well, and even though this one is topsy-turvy, I like it. Oh, and I was supposed to show you something too. I was supposed to show you your curve opportunities. Hold on just a second. I need a little safety pin to kind of keep things where they belong. But let me go back and, okay. All right, let me go back and show you some things that you might want to keep in mind if you try this curvy. I've got to tell you, I love cutting and sewing these curves. Okay, let me go back to my folders, my idea folders. Okay, let's see. I think, oh, here it is. All right. So here we go. Oops, no, I didn't want it to open that way. Open with, I don't know why it opened that way. But that's going to give me a fit. I didn't want to open it with paint. Well, since it's open with paint and I'm not sure what to do next, I will make it bigger. If I can, I thought I could. Resize. Oh, please. It's going to give me a fit, so I'm going to skip this one and hope that, okay, let's see what this one does. I hope I haven't accidentally, oh no, I made it so everything opens with paint. All right, let me try something here. I want to open with, oh boy, she's another app. Huh. Well, I don't know what I did. Is this one? Oh, there we go. Okay. So let me, well, I don't know how to make it bigger. But there is one beautiful way to use the curves. And it's pretty fast and easy too, which I love. Okay. Whoops, sorry about that. All right. Let me show you some others. Now, this is not curvy, but it could be. It could be, you could take and make these segments curvy. And I think that would be awesome. So that's why I saved that, because I thought, ooh, that would be pretty cool. All right. So I'm going to, oh, I have accidentally set something weird on this, and I apologize. So here, let's see. Show more options. Copy as path? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So here, look at these wonderful curves. That kind of reminds me of a cornfield, but that's very dramatic, and the quilting really reinforces the shape. All right. So now I'm sorry that I'm sorry that it does that awful thing. But okay, here is, I don't know how to enlarge it. Let me see. Open a new tab. Oh, well, I don't know how to enlarge this. I'll have to get Mark to check this for me because obviously I've hit something. But if you can see all of the curved shapes, knowing how to do this curve technique does a wonderful job of creating water, bodies of water, oceans. So it's a really neat thing to know how to do. Okay? Now I will, then this will be the last one. Well, next to the last one I show you. Oh, now this opened fine. There we go. All right, let me make this bigger. Now this is where you can take the curved sections and cut them into squares, rectangles, different shapes, and put them together. And this is a scrap of a cross section of the curves that you can then just put in there, and just, your curvy quilt could be this. And I think that is very attractive. Very attractive. So here's a curvy pillow. And look at this. This is where I got the idea. When I saw this, that's where I got the idea to make the planets. And this looks like it should be a planet. And then look at this. So I may try to emulate this. I'm just not sure. Do I want to put a square? And mine will be curvy strips instead of straight. But I love this. I do love this. So that's where I got it kind of pinged me to go, ooh, do them curvy and make them into planets. Okay. Now, that way, I wanted to make sure I showed you that in case you were thinking, I'd really like to learn how to do this curvy and practice. But if I didn't want to do anything like that, what else could I do? And I'm sure, as smart as you guys are, you could think of another, or go out there and look online and find, what can I do with these curvy pieces? Because I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. Okay, let me come back to you guys. When I go off and look at photos like that, I can't see you. All right, looks like modern art. Exactly. That is exactly what we're doing. So, it's a Debula. So, I've got something new set up in here. I'm so excited. Okay, so last night I'm down here sewing, and I thought, Mark's home, and my machines are back home now. Both of my Jukies I've had timed, cleaned, aligned, all of that. So I knew he had clocked out of his work computer. So I sent him a little text and said, "Hon, can you bring my sewing machine down so we could set it in this desk here?" So he brought it down and set it down for me. And then I went to put it in the hole, and oops, this machine is wider than my Elna was. My Elna was longer, but this one's wider. So I'm going to show you. So I said, honey, are you coming back down? And he said, I hadn't planned on it. I said, well, I was kind of hoping, whoops, hold on, Deb. I was kind of hoping you'd come back down because I have a problem. The machine doesn't fit in the old desk. So he comes down and looks at it. And he's like, oh, man. He said, well, we're going to have to cut the hole. And I said, but you already took up my Elna. Meaning, hint, hint, hint. Can you get the jigsaw and cut so we can put this in the desk? And so we did. I had to quickly cover up the stuff I had on the desk because I forgot how much sawdust can come out of cutting this extra space. We've got it in here, and it's shorter than my Elna, so I can see around my desk better. See, he was like, you might want to clean up that desk. Oh, I wasn't going to say anything because he said he had his comfy clothes on after work because he has work clothes and home clothes, even though he works in the dining room now. Then he said, I'm going to have to go put my yard work clothes on to do this. Okay. And I had taken the magic marker and drawn out exactly where I thought, I was being so helpful. So, but he got it cut out and we got it put down in there. And we've got a few little areas to kind of fill in. And, but, I can't wait to show you how beautifully it sews. And it's so quiet. Yay. So I was a very happy gal. All right. So I'm going to show you two different things because I am really loving, and I've told you before, I need to get some alcohol and get off my permanent magic marker that I put on there. But now let me just lower this down a little. Okay. All right. And I had to super glue a flamingo on there, of course. All right. So here it is. And we're working now on cleaning up, adjusting the Elna because I'm going to sell it a very good price. And because I really don't need all of these machines. All right. Oops. I hope I did this right. Let me see. Oh, yes, I did. I was worried all of a sudden, I'm going to have nightmares forever on making sure I cut these right. So I'm going to, I just put one pin at the top. Laura, hi, sweetie. This actually is a machine I've had for about 4 years, but I kept it upstairs. And I was doing thread painting, and I was doing too much push-pull. I got it all out of whack. And this is the machine. Do you remember me telling you last summer I took it to a sewing machine shop, and they repaired it, but the thread thing wouldn't work? And so I took it back to them, and they did nothing with it for over 6 months. So they had it at their shop from May until I went and picked it up in late November. So I finally found a new guy who's really good. His name is Don, and he's in Lexington, North Carolina. Excellent technician. I mean, wonderful. And his wife owns the shop, and he does the scissor sharpening and the machine. I'm stitching. Do you see my Band-Aid? I was gluing the Easter eggs on the wreath, and I dropped the egg that had glue on it on my arm, but then it rolled onto my shirt. And without thinking, I ignored the arm and went to wanted to make sure it wasn't getting hot glue on the couch and everything. By the time I came back, I felt this really burning. I peeled the glue off and it took my skin with it. Ouch. Okay, here we go. So I know I was silly girl. So it's going to stay. In fact, it's burnt into here too. So it's very sore and oh my goodness. All right. So I've got the pink on the bottom, this on top, doesn't matter which way. And I just lay them down together. I wish I could tilt this more, but I don't know if I can do it. I think maybe I can. Whoops, no, didn't mean to touch that. All right. Mm. Well, no, better not. I don't want to take a chance on hurting anything. I will get Mark to show me again. How do I do this? Okay, so here we go. Whoops. Okay, here we go. So I have this on top, and what I do is I kind of put my thumb under this and kind of put my hand this here, and what this does is it moves the fabric back and forth. And then this one just gently holds this one and moves this back and forth. I keep it at my 1/4 inch seam allowance mark, and then I just gently sew. And take your time because it takes a lot longer to take out the stitches and have to redo it. It takes a lot longer than just sewing it slowly in the first place. And what you're doing is you're giving the fabric time to use the bias because these curves have bias, and you're just allowing the fabric to relax, and the curves edges will meet up. Sometimes you have to sew a little farther past where you thought, because if you don't, then when you go to pull the top fabric back, it comes back too far. So here we go. We bring this down. Yeah, here we go. So I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to show you how I do the arcs, the concave and convex arcs. So see how you just kind of gently, see how lightly I touch this? Because I'm not trying to pull it or stop it or anything. I'm just trying to keep the edges lined up right here with my 1/4 inch mark. All right, so now I'm going to pull this over like this and just kind of let it go. Now right here, it wants to make a pucker. So I can see it wants to make a pucker. So I'm just going to take and pull this fabric this way, and then the pucker is removed. Then I just keep on sewing. So if it looks like it's going to pucker at some point, just pull it sideways, laterally, and the pucker should come right out. So I've learned a whole lot by making the few blocks that I have made. Right here, I had not fully cut the fabric, and when I went to pull it, it started to make a run in the fabric. So I always stop, use my fingernail to try to put it back into place, and then it's fine. All right. Sometimes you have to lift the presser foot if it starts to curl at the presser foot. Now this is a very deep curve. I've gotten so bold now that I'm really doing. I see right here, it wants to do a little pucker again. So I just come over here and tug it from the side. The pucker releases and you don't sew it in. But this is a very curvy piece. I'll show you once I get to the end. Now this way it's starting to pucker, but all I have to do is lift the presser foot up and shove it that way. So these are just little things, I like to tell you what you'll expect, so that if this happens, that you go, oh yeah, I remember Deb did that. Because I have been so pleased at how easy this was. Okay. And this is going to probably want to pucker. No, I missed the pucker. That was great. I moved the fabric just at the right time to avoid a pucker. But you'll be pleased when you see how deeply. Now, we're coming to the end. This fabric piece is longer. Okay, this one's shorter, but that's fine. The thing you're going to do is you're just going to keep guiding them so that they're even on this side, and just, you can't lay it in place too soon because it won't be on the curve right. So you just, wish I could tilt this down. Oops, I think I did. Yay. So now, so you see how if I tried to put these two edges together, then it would miss the curve. So keep using them as separate pieces all the way up to the last minute. There. Okay, so there. But you could hear how quiet that machine. I'm so happy with this machine. I can't tell you. So, it's like I got my baby back. So now, we'll come over here while I hurt myself on my trash can. And I'm going to turn the light on here. Let me find my little light thingy. All right. So, all right. So now, make sure you do not iron on your cutting mat. All right. So here's what I usually like to do if I'm feeling good and not in too big of a rush. You always put your seams, the next seam edge, push it away from the one. This one's push it opposite the one that went ahead. The reason is if I did this way, this area would overlap, and then you've got a big lump of fabric. So every seam goes opposite of the one ahead of it. And I like to give it a kind of encouragement to go in the right direction. Oh, come on, turn on. My auto off doesn't always auto come back on when I move it. So it's going to take a second for it to warm up. So see, I've got some pieces here. I've got a piece here. Then I've got some little, and I'm just going to, decide. I try to be more careful now when I cut these so that I know that the ones that I want to go together will. But at the same time, I'm trying to cut the edges, cut them in a more fabric-saving way. Now, this is going to look like it's going to pucker a little bit, but as you can see, these are some pretty steep curves. These are something else. So here, where it acts like it's not puckered, but it acts like it wants to, then just take and iron this direction, then come and do this side this direction. And if it acts up and you just can't get it to lay flat, then go either dampen it with your handy dandy spray bottle, and that will let the fabric fibers relax, and it'll let the fibers relax, and then come in and smooth it away from the fullness. And as you can see then, it's perfectly flat. All right. Now, I tried earlier ironing and the heat does not get through to the mat. But I'm not saying your wool mat will protect your cutting mat. So take your chances, be careful. All right, so now, oops, and right here, it's just a little bit wavy. So I just hit it with just a little plain water that lets the fibers relax. And then I come back in, and now they behave the way I want them to. Okay. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to cut these babies. So here we are, and I like to start with a reasonably straight edge. Here is my template. Okay. So I'm going to start. Oh, I haven't finished. I can't cut this. I'm sorry. What I will do now is I'm going to have to figure out I got to put another fabric here. But you know what I'm going to do just to show you how easy it is? I'm going to go ahead and cut the curve, because I know that when I find the fabric I want, I can then trace it with my chalk marker or my tailor's chalk, and I can trace it onto the fabric that I'm going to put beside it. Does that make sense? But I just wanted to show you how easy it is to make these decisions, to make the curves. There it is. And so what I will do next is figure out what color would look good next, and then slip that in there. And I may do one more. Usually I find I have about 6 different strips of fabric. And this one I'll probably cut off so it's not quite so big. But right now it just has 4, so I'll probably put 2 more on it. All right. Let me close this so I don't cut myself. But now you've seen how I piece it. Then once it's wide enough and it has enough strips, you lay this on it, you mark it, and you cut it out. The one thing, if you want them to go the same direction and have the same color courses, is then the next one, if you mark this one, the next one you would just flip this over and mark and cut that. And that way you'd have the same colors on both sides. But here is one. Okay, here we go. This is with the same colors and the same basic layout. Here is one with cut from 2 different strip sets. And you know what? I like them both. Hi, Alberta. So isn't that kind of neat? I like them both. And it's up to you what you want to do. So I wish this color had shown more, because this up against the blue is a little hard to see. All right, so now let me turn off this light. Where is my little turn off? What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Now I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to show you how to, in fact, let me bring this back over, I think. Yeah. All right. So here is the convex piece. Both of these are, and see how they're kind of cut from around the basic strip, part of the strip set. Here is the concave piece that goes in. So it's this. You are not going to believe. Well, I do need to press this really quickly. I didn't give it a real good press. Okay. So now you take this piece and you lay it around the curved edge, because that way you know, okay, here is the way it's supposed to be. Then you take and you flip it right sides together. You pin this right here at the edge. I only pin it in one place. You can also put a little glue under there. Since these were bigger, I found I didn't need to do that. Then you put it under your needle, right at your 1/4 inch mark, and just slowly start. Good. I didn't use a leader, so a scrap of fabric, so I was worried my thread might go down under, but it didn't. And here we're doing the same thing that we did. Oh, Judy Smith, you're from Silver Spring, Maryland? Yeah, because I lived in Leonardtown for 21 years. Okay, so I'm just making sure that at this is the 1/4 inch mark, and that they line up pretty good at that 1/4 inch mark. And you notice I don't have it all pinned. This time I didn't even press the center seams because I've been doing this and not even needing to. So watch how easy this is. All right, so just bring it around. Just as long as you're taking it reasonably slow and gently. You see how I'm just moving it sideways to line up. Okay, coming across this way. And I just stop and readjust. That's very easy to do. Stop and readjust. Now here, you wish you could put it back here and line it up, but then see what it does with the curve? So what you do is you just go like that, okay? And when you go like that, it looks odd because you're kind of holding it way over here, but you just do it until at the point where those two line up good, and then it starts to relax, and then you gently keep bringing them together, not letting go until the last minute, because that curve is right up to the last point. Let's say let me see. Oh, I don't see my stiletto. I have one, but I know what. I prefer to use a skewer over a metal stiletto because my big fear is if I hit it with the needle, a metal stiletto would really have a problem. I'm trying to put my hand so I can kind of show you. See how I just kind of keep pulling this around? The stiletto holds the bottom piece, and we keep sewing and sewing and sewing. Okay. And even with the odd angle, it did pretty good. Now, when this is done sewing, I press. You would think that you would want to press towards the smaller area. But, hi, Patty Kuchera. I told them about you seeing me read a video where I read a book to my grandsons. And that was so cute. You were so sweet for commenting. I forgot to put it on unlisted. Okay, here we are. So, like I said, you push the seam allowance to the background. See? To the background. Now watch how easy this is to get this to lay flat. You just come in with the side of your iron and you just gently walk the fabric around. And sometimes the edge might look a little wonky. You can straighten that up. But there it is. Isn't that awesome? It's just that easy. So then I will finish this one, and Then I will sew these two together. The only place I pin them is right up where the background meets. But I let these seams fall where they fall because they weren't cut exactly at the same place. And that's okay. Now, if you want to make them so they match exactly, then you can do that flippy thing and cut them right at the same space of the curved piecing. But I wanted these to look a little wonky. That's my new thing. Being happy with that wonky. So that's how it's going to look. Okay? All right. So I'm hoping by next week I will have, oh, and look at these pretty little teeny strips where you cut the curves. Some of them are tiny, but I think they're so pretty. They're not really useful unless you really want to do crumb quilting, but I think they are beautiful. All right, so let me bring this back up. All right, move that over. Okay, and again, whoops, I do have to tilt this back a little more. There is, and they're not in place yet. I'm just trying to figure out how I want them. Whoops. I think I did twist this a little funny. We'll figure it out. I hope I didn't turn something the way I shouldn't again. All right, guys. So I think it's coming along. It's an awful lot of fun. And I love that I got this machine. I mean, did he fix it? It just purrs now, doesn't it? So thank you so much for joining me on this Thursday, Art Quilt Thursday. And for whoever is around Sunday afternoon, Easter Sunday, come on in. Let's have some fun. I can't promise I'll be at the Jitsi at 11 a.m. Eastern Time Saturday, but maybe I can just kind of at least come in and say, hey, and before I duck back out. So, because I've got to get this ironing board cover redone. So, and I will film that because someone asked, how did you make your giant ironing board cover? All right, I think I've covered everything. And I thank you so much for spending tonight with me. And let me know if any of you are going to do the Alex Anderson Neutral Challenge. Neutral's kind of a cool thing for a Deb because I usually like really bright and bold colors. And I think, like Alex said the other day, it's a great exercise in tint, color, what do you call it? The difference, the intensity. It's really good to use that. So, all right, everybody. And just, if you are a member of our site, look on the site and you'll go to the actual site and you'll see the Jitsi link. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you to Miss Marsha for being the kindest, most attentive welcome wagon / moderator. And Patty, it is great to see you, and thank you for commenting on my grandson's video. Oh, happy Easter to all of you. It's so exciting to see the trees just leafing out every day. It becomes more green. It's exciting. So take good care of yourself. I hope to see some of you Sunday. Have a great Easter. And take good care of yourself. Bye-bye, everybody. See you later. Whoops. Let me see if I can. Okay, here we go. Take care.